welcome, Bunny Hill Devlog number 4. I was making this cabin and looking at a bunch of tiny house videos. I made this this cabin with a big rounded piece of if you use blenders, then wondering why my blender looks like blender because I have the I learned Maya first, so because I have the Maya plugin and I I'll link it in the description, sheet metal or something. But anywho, the cabin is definitely too high poly for its purposes, but it was kind of fun to make. It right there at the top. You only see it for a second. Next I got started on making a finish chunk, so the end of the race, because the race is just a giant tube, but I wanted it to be capped off so you wouldn't just fly into the void. So I made it so that you couldn't really ski up the back of it. Then I made it spawn at the end of the race, so after all of the chunks spawn, the designated amount of chunks, then the finish chunk will spawn. The next thing I wanted to get started on is making the chunks more varied. So right now it's just the same chunk over and over. You can see with that ring just gets really repetitive. There's no variety. Quick side note, I was having issues with the shadows, and it was actually the level of detail in the shadows controlled in the settings. So you can actually show the cascade splits right here, which control the level of detail of the shadows per distance from the camera. So the screen circle changing is telling you how far away the camera, how far away from the camera it will kind of downgrade the resolution of the shadows, so it doesn't take as much rendering space. So I made a bunch of new chunks. This video quality is kind of garbage, but you could get the idea. Chunk with a big mound in the middle of it. Kind of divides it into 2 vertical sections, some more with just random lumps and stuff. And then once I made a chunk with a big cliff, I think that's pretty cool. You'll see later I added a ramp onto the cliff, and I think that's a pretty cool spot if you can get up there. Now I just have to add a bunch of props to each chunk and test it to see how well it flows and where the player naturally tends to slide. And it should be good. Last week I forgot to turn down the boosts in the sky. They go so fast that you just fly forward. The way the chunk system works is I put in all the prefabs, which are the nested prefabs of each chunk, and then it picks one from this list at random, and then spawns it, and then removes it from the list, so I won't get any duplicates. So eventually right now I have 6 chunks made, and I want to have at least 15, and because the race length is usually about 10 before the shadows start glitching out, which there's a way to fix that, but I don't really want to deal with that. And I tested them to see how well they flow together, so each chunk flows into itself is a good measure of how it will flow into the rest of the course, relatively speaking. Took me a while, but I got a good route to get up here onto this sick cliff jump. I really like that jump. You can see a lot of the course, and it makes it feel more like a expansive hill. I made light posts as well, so you can kind of see those here. I found some bugs with the collision stuff, detecting putting into fences and stuff like that, so I needed to refigure that out. So I made him run the gamut here. I tried to get started on some sort of menu UI scene, but I just have no clue what I'm doing, so gotta do some research. And here's the comment section from last video. Thanks for watching. I will be making another one of these next week, probably. I just kind of doing this as I go, so tune in.